Well, hello and welcome into Facts Not Feelings Friday, everyone. We've made it to Friday. And you know what? I said this yesterday if you caught it last night on the Thursday walk around, which I know is turned into the Thursday sit and chat, like fireside. Let's talk about it. Because it's just too freaking cold. Like it's Siberia and it's too cold to walk around. So it's me sitting and chatting with y'all. But I missed you. And I know that we talked about this a little bit, but if you missed it, I will do a quick recap here and then we'll jump into this incredible episode, which I'm so excited to talk to dive into this. And if you can't read the title, it is the ultimate guide to using Chat GPT for marketing and content creation. We'll jump into this, but before we do, this episode was supposed to go live. We were supposed to do this episode last week, and like I said, I talked about this a little bit yesterday. This month has just been it's one of those months. It's been a good month. I have, as everyone knows, as I'm usually really social on social, and I've just kind of taken a step back here a little bit. And for anyone that knows me, and you all have gotten to know me over the last, well, if you didn't know me, you've gotten to know me quite a bit over this last year-ish, and I am who I am. And I know it's redundant, but that's just what you see is what you get with me, and that I'm always going to be very authentic. That's who I am. And at any point, if I can't turn on the camera and be authentic, it's just not going to happen. And with that, it's just this month it's been a little crazy. And with that, I just, I need to take a step back for a second and take a minute to breathe. And that's what we've been doing. But we're back at it here. And I am so insanely stoked to be doing this episode here. It has been a little bit in the making, to be quite honest. For anyone that hasn't had a chance to dive into Chat GPT, we're going to get into this. I yesterday, and I was like, yeah, yesterday I started making some content on this, and it doesn't feel, because I know we do facts, not feelings here. A lot of people are talking about Chat GPT right now. There's the good and the bad, the ugly about it. I know there's a lot of people on both sides of the fence and then kind of down the middle. And then some people are like, Brooke, what the actual hell are you talking about? I don't even know what that is. And we'll kind of get into this a little bit. I'm going to give a little bit of a history behind it, and then kind of how I'm using it, how I've seen other people using it. And I do also, where I want to take this as well as maybe where some other people might not be taking it, is to also just kind of go down the line of, hey, it's an AI tool. So don't think that this is going to be the end all be all, because it's not that. And I have heard a lot of people talk like it's the best thing since sliced bread. And it is freaking incredible. I mean, it's saving me so much time, but also understand that it's AI. So if you're expecting it to do X, Y, and Z, and it can't do that, it's not going to do that. So don't ask it to do that. So, and we'll get into that. And so that's kind of what we're talking about today. And I'm super excited about that. So as you can see in the copy of this, I know there's always a lot of copy in this, but to bring this full circle, if you're looking for, especially as an entrepreneur and as a small business owner, this is something that personally, it saves me so much time. And I can tell you that if you guys go back and look at take my last 10 episodes, I venture to say you all can't tell which of the episodes have been written by ChatGPT and which ones haven't. But I can tell you a good chunk of them have. So this is stuff that, am I just going to say, ChatGPT, you write the whole thing and I'm not going to oversee it? No. But from a research standpoint, I can say, I need some content ideas, or I know what I want to write. Help me write the outline of it, or write the intro of it, or whatever it may be. But this has helped so much. And so without further ado, we are going to dive into Chat GPT. Now, I will let you all know, because there's been so much pent up demand for this tool, that you may log on there and get that it's all servers are busy and you can't get in there. So I had recorded this last night so that I can actually have screen recordings of this and get what I need to see so you all can see this. But if you have any questions, throw them into the chat. Please throw them in the chat, and I will answer them and be there and answer any questions you may have. And if we need to do a part 2 of this, I'm happy to do this, because this is a tool that, when utilized correctly and knowing the lane where it can best be utilized, man, it will help you so much. But when you put it in a lane that it shouldn't go, it's the same thing as your people. If you try to put someone that shouldn't be in the service lane and you put them in the service lane, they're going to fail. If you put someone in the BDC that shouldn't be in the BDC, that person is going to fail. So just knowing the lane where Chat GPT should be, that is the most important thing. But don't ask something over it that it can't be done. So yeah. So let's first start with, okay, what the heck is this thing and why the hell is it such a cumbersome thing to, like, every time I say, I'm like, why can't they think of a better name? Yeah, at some point, hopefully come up with a better name. So let's start with that, because I always feel like, okay, we got to know, before we look to the future, let's look at the past and understand the history of this. So let's start with that first. So taking a brief history at Chat GPT. If you're unfamiliar with it, it is Chat GPT, and it's actually a variant of, and I'm going to do the technical term of it, and then I'm actually going to break it down into very simple terms. So it's a variant of Generative Pre-trained Transformer language model developed by OpenAI. That's like from where it came. The original GPT model was trained on a data set of over 40 gigabytes of text data and was released in 2018. Since then, there's been several versions of GPT has been released and have, including GPT-2 and GPT-3. So you will hear some people talk about Chat GPT-3. That's what they're talking about, or GPT-3. That's what they're talking about, which have been trained on even larger data sets and have achieved state-of-the-art performance in a variety of languages. ChatGPT is a variation of GPT-3. Going back to what I said before, you'll hear people talk about ChatGPT-3 or GPT-3. That's what they're talking about when they say that, which is, going back to this GPT-3, is a fine-tuned for conversational language tasks. It was released in 2020. So that's a lot of garbledygook. What the hell does that mean, Brooke? In elementary terms, it's a computer program that understands and responds to human language like a conversation. It was created by a company called OpenAI, which is made from a text from the internet. Then they approved it a bunch of times. They tested it and found out it was really, really good at what it does. Then it's like a robot that can talk to you and understand what you're saying. So you've got the technical side of it, and then you've got, in really layman terms, what it is. It's just like a robot, and understands what you said, and it continues and continues and continues to learn. So that's what it is. So now we know what it is, and now we get to figure out, what the heck does it do, and how can we utilize this? This is the fun part of it. So now I said, we're going to dive into the power of Chat GPT and what we can do with it. And yes, we're going to focus on the content part of it. At the very end of it, as long as we've got time permitting still, I'm going to dive into some other fun, other geeky stuff of it. So we'll deal with the content part of it, content marketing of it, and some advertising portions of it. We still have time at the very end here. I will get into some other stuff that actually is out of my depth. I will be quite honest. It was some fun stuff that I saw I was researching some things that I saw some other advertisers. I wouldn't even say advertisers, some other researchers do that. I go, wow, that is really cool. I personally didn't know it could do that. I saw that it could, but I really dove into it. I was like, if you're a coder, there's some insane things you can do with this tool. So the biggest thing is, once again, knowing what the capabilities of the tool is, and then taking it from there. Don't ask it to do something unless you know the lane where it can go. So with that, let's dive into first where do you go to actually get in there? So I am going to first bring up that, like I said, once again, if you go to the site and it says that it's at capacity, just wait. Sometimes it's at a very high busy time, and that's why you can't get in there. So let's first go into the welcome screen here. So I'm going to pull up the welcome screen here and walk you through here that this is, when you log in first, this is what you're going to see. So you're going to log in. You can use your Google account, you can use your Gmail account, you can look at, and so when you've got this here first, I want to make it, when you're here, it's just going to walk you through different things here. And when you're doing this, there's all these different disclaimers saying, hey, more or less, don't give sensitive information. Hey, we're a chat. You're not going to, we're going to run into, don't give sensitive information. You don't, if there's going to be a place where there's an issue, you want to leave feedback, follow us on Discord. So we'll go through this. And once again, these are the limitations. I feel like people are automatically breezing through these and not thinking of it. Here are different examples. So it goes through different examples where you can do. Here are the capabilities. So it walks you through this as well. And too many people are automatically breezing through these, but I'm not sure why. So once again, after 2021, that's going to have limited information. If you put something really derogatory in there, it's going to kick it out. Like, it doesn't want to do that. So I did an example of 1 + 9. Now, I will tell you, when I did this example, it timed out on me. So that's one of the examples. Even though I'm able to type in this, you'll see right here that it did time out on me. However, here's a screenshot. Once I was able to actually get back in there, I had to keep refreshing. Once I refreshed enough, it did show up eventually and said, hey, 1 + 9 = 10. There are times if you get back and it comes back and it says there was an issue, just keep regenerating the answer. Then you'll get there. If it keeps happening, it might just be the system is overloaded and you may have to go back at another time. It is also really key. If I bring this back up here, I'm going to bring this back up here again so you can see this here. Let me get back up here one more second here. Is on here, if you see, I don't know if I can get here, under the chats, on the left-hand side on the chats, you'll see that it will say new chat. It's also really, really key that when you're going through those chats, that chat is everything that you ask about it is directly correlated to whatever is in the line of that chat. So in that example, it was 1 + 9. If I randomly asked about what's the newest, hottest car, it would have nothing to do with that 1 + 9 question. So I would need to start a brand new chat. So keep that in mind, that if you want to ask something different or something that has, a variation of that, it's all going to be about that chat. So start a brand new chat. Okay. So the next thing that we're talking about is what else can we do with this? So that's how we log in. But what are the fun things we can do with this? So there is a lot of information in this. And I actually started to write out about 30 different things that I can think off the top of my head that I use, or maybe some other people use. And it's a pretty lengthy list. So I'm just going to start listing some things off that I could think of off the top of my head that I personally use it for. First and foremost, before I get into those 30 things, the first thing, obviously for my podcast, I use it all the time. As a search engine, that's a big one. People are definitely using it as a search engine option. I would say it's like Google on steroids. If you're trying to use it as other things, just be careful. Like I said, always fact check. Steve Apicel, you and I were talking yesterday about this. If we go think of Wikipedia, people think Wikipedia is the gospel. Now, how many times let's say after a national championship game, will someone go in there living in Chicago? It was after Aaron Rodgers called himself the owner of the Bears that someone went into Wikipedia and changed the ownership of the Bears to Aaron Rodgers. Now, is the owner of the Bears actually Aaron Rodgers? No, it's not. But people can go in and change stuff. So thinking that's the gospel is not the actual truth. So this is the same thing. So with as great as AI is, and it's phenomenal, understand that there's certain fact checking that you're going to have to do. And in that disclaimer, if you look at the back, if we go back to looking at the disclaimers and the limitation, it actually says in there that, hey, some of this information might not be true. Even when I was getting the screenshots for this, I asked if I had we can do summaries, which we'll get to in a second. It can take a very large document and I can say, give me the summary of this, mark this down into 5 bullet points, and it can do that. So I said, hey, can you take this content and take it down to 2,900 characters? It couldn't do it. So at that point, there's a little thumbs up, thumbs down, and you give the feedback back to Chat GPT. So I did that. So there are certain limitations. Just understand, once again, that know the lane where this needs to be. So the first thing, the first 5 things that I thought of, and we'll go through these 5 things at a time. The first one is going to be content creation. That's a no-brainer, content creation. Now, when I say content creation, do I mean that it's going to go and make all the beautiful things for me? No, that's not what I mean. It's not going to go make the images for me. What I mean by that, it's going to generate high-quality, unique, engaging content such as blog posts, social media posts, and product descriptions. Like it's going to give me ideas. I can tell you I've used this all the time for this. It gives me ideas on stuff, helps me kind of think about it. The biggest thing on this, which I'm going to show you examples later on, is that you don't just ask one question. You've got to keep poking the bear. Hey, ask me more, tell me more, tell me more, tell me more. Next one, chat bot development. It can be used to create chat bots and the answer customer questions. It provides product recommendations and assists with customer service, email marketing. It then can use to write personalized, engaging email campaigns that are tailored to specific segments of your audience. Ad copy. So I want to put an asterisk next to this one. While it can be used to write ad copy and then optimize for different platforms and ad formats such as Google and Facebook ads, be careful that this is optimized for you. Don't just say, make this for me, and then expect it to do it and do it to 100%. It's not a human. So once it does it, make sure and go back and look and say, is this done to the liking of what I need? Facebook and Google are changing every day. Now, going back to that very first screen, what was the last thing that we saw on limitations? It's only up and after 2021, there's limited knowledge. So if we're expecting this to be 100% for ad copy and Facebook, for Google and Facebook ads, it may be a little off. I mean, we've got GA4 coming out. I can tell you that I tested this with GA4 and I just typed in GA4 and it was all over the map. But if I did Google Analytics 4, I got a completely different answer. So yes, can it give you ad copy? Yeah, it can. But how it's done is going to be a little bit different. So yes, it can, but be very careful on how you do this. Product naming. It can be used to generate potential names for new products and features. So I'm going to pull up this. So just kind of bring this full circle here. We've got content creation. We've got chat development, email marketing, email ad cart, product naming, SEO, and keyword search. The next one we're going to go to is, let those up there and we're going to come back to them here. We've got keyword search. So keyword search, and I actually have done this multiple times and it does it pretty well here. So keyword search is going to be different whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on YouTube or Google. Like I actually use a keyword search that I was using before this, and the keyword search is sometimes it's better than the other one, sometimes it's the other one's better, but it can generate a list of keywords that are relevant for your business or industry. I've also used it to say, after I get something written, say, what are the best keywords to use for YouTube? What keywords should I use for Google? I've also used it for hashtags. Which hashtags are best used for blah, 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 blah. And it spits out hashtags to me. That's another good one I've used. So market research. This is one that I think probably gets used, at least for me and others I've talked to. Research is really big because it's become almost like I'd say almost like a Google search engine, but on steroids. And I've talked to a lot of people, and this has been like, research is really big. So it can be used to fine-tune, to generate customer personas, product reviews, or even survey questions. By using such a large database of customer feedback and reviews, it identifies patterns and common interests and themes that can be used to understand customer preferences, pain points, and even needs. This can be help to the market to understand and how to target your audiences and how they perceive the product and how to improve it. So, like I said, I'm going to get in here in a little bit how it can take a ginormous data set, pages of data, and be like, okay, this is what it says, and then it saves you from reading the entire thing. It's awesome that way. Campaign strategy, same thing. It can be used to generate campaign ideas, strategies that align with your marketing goals. Lead generation, this can be done so many different ways, but let's say that you need to generate a highly personalized, engaged lead magnets. And so what's a lead magnet? Maybe you don't know what that is. No problem. I got you covered. That's an ebook. Maybe it's a webinar. Maybe you're looking at email courses, but something that's going to be like a catching hook, and then it's going to make someone want to click on that or engage with that. Multiple times, I have used this to grab someone's attention, and boom, they saw what it was and they clicked on it. So those are the next 10. I'm going to bring this back up here again. So we've got those 5 right there. Content creation. We've got the email, chat development, email marketing, ad campaign, product naming. Then we've got the SEO, keyword search, market research, campaign strategy, lead generation, and we're going to bring up the next 5 after this, and we've got the next 5. So now we're going on to 11. So we're almost halfway there. Heart be still. I know. Going on to 12. This one was very interesting. I personally am not done with this one, but I know other people that have, and I know a lot of people struggle with this one. A lot of times when I ask my dealers in particular, hey, do you do this? I just get the deer in the headlight look. And that's voice search optimization. So let me know. Is anybody personally voice search optimization? Are you optimizing for search right now? Whether that be Alexa, whether that be your Google. I know, Vasilios, when you were on the show back in 2022, you and I talked about this a lot with voice search optimization and how important this is. So this is something Chat GPT can help with this to optimize the content for voice search. But how does it do that? Well, it does it by generating natural searches, by generating natural language phrases and questions that customers might be searching for a product or service. So that's that one, I didn't even think about that one. I was like, oh my gosh, that's really cool. So that's something I'm going to personally look into that a little bit more. This one was kind of cool. And I actually tested this one in particular because my niece's birthday is next week, actually. So I actually threw this one in here just because it was fun. Virtual event planning. So for all you digital marketers out there that are doing 15 jobs at once, and you're also the event planner, because I know that you are the social media manager, you're the digital marketer, you're the turn the light offer person, you're the event planner, you're everything in between. Welcome to Chat GPT. We got you covered now. So it can generate ideas for virtual events such as webinars, virtual summits, online workshops. I'm sure you're the staff photo taker as well. So you're trying to do that. So this one in particular, I literally did like ideas for a 7-year-old or 7-year-old birthday party, and boom, I had 10 ideas. So things like this, or ideas for a bachelorette party, boom, you got that. So it can do things like that. A/B testing. We all do A/B testing, or we should be at least. So that's another way it can help out. It can generate multiple versions of an ad copy, headlines, and other marketing materials to test which version performs the best, which I know we all are doing this. And number 15, and now we are officially through the top 30, and then we'll get into more fun stuff here, is Chat GPT can be used to generate personalized messages and emails for your CRM. What does that include? Follow-up emails, your loyalty email program manager, loyalty program communication, all those fun emails that you are supposed to send that we all know that you never send because you don't touch your CRM. Chat GPT can do that. Like, it does all that stuff for you. So BDC, all those emails that you don't want to send, or that are those template emails that look like crap, that we all know that are from a template, and we all know that are fake, and we don't, as a human that is interacting and is going to buy a $40,000 car, we don't want to look at them anyways. Chat GPT can make those for you now. And now they can be personalized. Like, how great is that? So I'm going to bring this back up here. We're going to recount the last 15 here once again. So here's the first 5 here: content creation, chatbot development, email marketing, ad campaign, product naming. All right, there's the first 5. Next 5. SEO. So I think I forgot that one. Keywords research, market research, campaign strategy, lead generation. And we've got the next 5 here: influence marketer, voice search, virtual event planning, A/B testing, CRM. And we're going to go now to the next ones. Wait for it. You guys are you're getting a little taste there for it right there. All right, so now we're going on to the next one here. Customer service. Man, how nice would it be if your customer service agents could actually get a break? Man, it'd be so nice. So they can actually generate automated responses to common inquiries, freeing up your customer service representative times to handle more complex issues. Oh my gosh, that'd be so nice. And I even think from like a BDC standpoint, once again, how nice would that be? Or your front desk, your representative, like, it just frees up so much time. We go to product development. It can be used to generate product ideas. We talked about it a little bit before, but it can actually generate product ideas, features, benefits by analyzing customer feedback and Dun, dun, dun. Market trends. I mean, this is all, it's just taking all that data and saying, all right, how can we use this? How can we make it better? Blog post. That's a big one. That's a huge one. We're all in need of okay, how we got the blog. It's the same blog that everyone else has. The OEM is setting out a blog. It's the same blog that every other store has, that our competitor has. Why not have a blog that's actually good, that is generating high quality, it's unique, it's engaging, and it's on a variety of topics? Like, let's take the market trends out there and the data out there and make it good. Well, it can do that. Back to social media. So social media post generation. So we're back to this. Brooke, we're stretched so thin. We don't have people. I just don't have time to do organic social posts. Well, maybe Chat GPT can help with that as well. So it can be used to generate those social media posts that are optimized for different platforms and formats. So that includes Instagram and the captions. It includes Facebook posts and Twitter threads. So it can say, hey, this is what's going on. Just tell it what you're looking for. So whether you're an insert OEM, a Honda, a Nissan, a Infiniti, a Volvo, whatever it may be, Mercedes, hey, we're looking at doing this, and give us the top 10 news, whatever. Now, understand as well that 21 on, it's limited knowledge from 21 up. So it can be generic posts on XYZ. And then from there, it's just a matter of getting the imaging, but it's going to tell you the content. The content's the hardest part. So getting it from there, and then you're good to go. Article writing. So let's just go. Now we're getting into some more fun stuff, but article writing. So it can be used to write articles on so many different topics, so a variety of topics that are clear, concise, and engaging. That's, like I said, we're going to jump into like actually seeing how this is done. I want to lay the groundwork first on the things that can be done, but on the groundwork there. So on clear, concise, and engaging. And I can throw a bunch, like I said, a bunch of stuff in there, and it gives me boom, 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 boom. 21, and we're going to kind of go through the next couple of ones here. So product descriptions. So it can be used to write product descriptions. Once again, clear, concise. We just went over that. Script writing. This is a really big one for me, especially. I've used this multiple times where I'm just like, hey, I need this done. I don't have time to get through this. Can you spit this out to me real quickly? And it'll go through and generate scripts for video, podcasts, and all other type of audio-visual content. It's phenomenal at this. What I will tell you is, once again, you do still need to use your noggin, that it is not human, it is AI. So I will go through it. By the time I keep, I'll type more, tell me something different, that it may duplicate it. So then it's just copy and paste and say, okay, it said the same thing here twice, so I'm going to move this over here. So just use your noggin on it. That's it. So going through landing page copy, once again, with it being landing page copy, it's not human. So understand that while it can write compelling copy for a landing page and encourage people to come visit you and take those actions and make a purchase, go through and look at it, that it's going to have some limited knowledge on it. So depending on what you're writing, it may do a really good job, and other times it might not be the best fit for you. So it all depends on what you're trying to do, but it can still get you started in the right direction, especially if you've got writer box or you're wearing 15 different hats. Transcription and subtitling, another phenomenal thing. And we'll get into this and how you can actually use this and use it to speed up your time in making content. But it can generate the transcription and subtitling for video, podcast, and other non-video and audio visual. This makes it so much easier, especially for creators, to make the content more accessible. So once you've typed out what you want, and I'll show you how I personally do this, is that you can take it and then you just copy and paste it and then throw it into wherever you're going. Then you've got video, and it just makes it so much easier. Oh my gosh, it honestly makes it so much easier. We've talked about this multiple times now. I've got this list at 25, but I knew I was going to be talking about it multiple times after I got here. Content summarization, man, this is such a big one. So Chat GPT can be generated summaries of longer pieces of content. I've talked about it before. I'm actually, because GLBA is such a big thing, I've got a ginormous article from GLBA that I threw into Chat GPT and said, summarize this. And it took it all of 30 seconds, and it summarized the entire thing. It was phenomenal. And then I said, explain this to me like I'm a 5-year-old, and it did it. So it's so great to take that, so I don't have to read the entire thing. Now I could still read it, but I got the whole thing. And now I have read it previously, so I knew when it summarized it, it was accurate. Podcast episode summaries. I know we all are big podcasters here. A lot of us do podcasts. So podcast episode summaries. It can generate a summary of the podcast episode. It just makes it easier for your listeners to catch up on past episodes. Podcast production, another one that I use. Well, we're going to say weekly, to be quite honest. I use this one all the time. Use it all the time. So whether you're trying to think of episode ideas, whether you're trying to think of title ideas, whether you're trying to think of show note ideas, whether you're trying to think of questions to ask your guests, whatever it may be, it can help. And I can tell you, once again, I use this all the time. All the time I use it. Even when you're trying to put this into YouTube or trying to put it into social, it all adds up together because you're thinking of hashtags, whether you're thinking of the keywords, whether if you use TubeBuddy, there's a free version, then you got to pay for the other portion of it. This will help if you don't want to pay for the free version, to think what keywords should I use or what hashtag, all these different things of optimization. It all is a domino effect on how this helps. Infographic creation, another one I use all the time. I want to be very clear. It's not going to make the actual infographic for you. It's going to help you come up and generate ideas for the infographic, as well as the actual copy to include in that. Going back to lead magnets, we talked about this earlier, but it's going to help generate ideas for those lead magnets. And I've used this multiple times. Once again, we're going to talk about what is a lead magnet. That's going to be ebook. It's going to be a webinar. It's going to be an email course. Anything that's going to generate someone to click on something and generate leads to grow your audience and grow your business. And then lastly, content optimization. I want to end on this one for the 30, and I'll throw this up here again here in a second. In fact, well, as I'm talking about this, we're going to throw this up here. All right, so content optimization is ChatGPT can optimize content for different platforms and formats, such as creating social media friendly headlines. It can also do optimizing images for different devices and ensuring the content is mobile responsive. So you can see we've covered an array of different things. And this is honestly just the tip of the iceberg. Like I said, if at the end of the show, if I still have time, I'm going to hit on a couple more geeky ones, to say the least. There's quite a few other ones. And there are so many different ways that this can be used. It's just, I feel like the possibilities are endless, that the ability of GPT to understand the context and sentiment is just, it's endless. There are so many different ways that they can be used. And I'm really curious how everyone else uses this. Or if you're new to it, that's okay too. Like start using it. You really can't break the tool. So it's pretty cool for everyone, how everyone's differently using this. And even since yesterday when I did this post, it's been cool to see the response back of like, Brooke, I've been using this for a while in our businesses. It's just flourished since we used it. And hey, we use it more this way. So I love hearing this feedback. So let's jump into here. It's just some actual real examples of how I've been using it. And so you can actually see what it actually looks like. So let's jump into this one first. So I went through some of those. I'm going to talk about the GLB one. So this was kind of interesting to me, that I said, hey, I want to see if it can take, because I kept seeing that it could take large quantities of data and summarize. And I go, all right, let's take something very, very boring like GLBA and summarize this. So here is it trying to summarize the GLBA. So you'll see here, it's just a very large piece of GLBA article from GLBA, right? And I said, summarize this. That's a lot of GA. And it literally summarized it in that one little piece right there. And I said, okay, I asked it for what are the keywords here? And it brought out some keywords. And then I said, explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old. And it says, okay, so imagine so it went through and actually it said, okay, this is, if you're a 5-year-old, this is what it means, which is pretty cool. I was like, all right, I see you. That's pretty nice. So then with that, I took it a step further on some of these other ones and said, all right, I said to you all, what do you do with the scripting portion of it? So with me, there are multiple different companies out there to take, you type in whatever it is. So let's say you were going to take that the GLBA one. It doesn't matter what it is. You could do digital marketing. Let's say you were doing any of these things on whatever it may be. All you would do is from there is take the script, copy it. Let's find what it is. So like, for instance, the last few of my shows, I've taken Chat GPT whatever I want to talk about, typed it in there, and it gives me ideas on whatever. I copy that, I paste it into wherever, let's say Google Docs, arrange it how I want to arrange it. And then from there, if I'm going to be adding later on, as everyone knows, this goes into, if you don't know, it goes into YouTube and it's all done with graphics and what have you. There are multiple ways then that you can add video. You can use a company called Veed. It's Veedio. There's also a company called Pexels. It's Pepaxel. I'm going to show those to you in a little bit. What's great is once you actually have the content from Chat GPT, what I love is that I can just take the content and then throw it into wherever, and then just type whatever I'm looking for. So what I mean by that, let's actually walk through this. So for instance here, we have Pexels, and Pexels is free, which that's what I like about it, is I don't have to pay anything. I have free videos and free photos. So I can just say, okay, I want this video. It's on digital marketing, let's say. But let's say I want a video. Boom. And I get a video. It's all on digital marketing. I can throw this into whatever. All right, I want this video or that video. It doesn't matter what video it is, but these are all free videos. They're copyright free. I don't have to pay. So let's say you're on a small business budget, let's say. All of these are free to me, which is fantastic. Now, there's also called Pixabay. These are royalty-free music downloads. So maybe I wanted to add some music to the background. I can do that as well. And then I could download these, throw this in. There's also a company, like I said before, this is the V.io. This one you do have to pay for, but the same thing. If you want to throw those in there, you could do this. What is nice about Veed is that you could take all of this, take all of the script and throw it in and have a voiceover. So if you didn't want to have your face on TV or your face on a video, no problem. You take all of that, throw the verbiage that you have from Chat GPT, throw it into a transcript, and boom, there you go. Now, CapCut is a free tool as well. The one thing with CapCut, it's going to be on what? It's going to be on your phone. So for me, I would much rather edit on my laptop than on my phone. So from there, you've got that. You can edit from whatever. So that is one way that has made my life so much easier trying to edit everything, is that I literally type what I'm trying to talk about. It spits out everything to me. If I want to have an outline, I just say, hey, create an outline for me. Boom. Hey, create a podcast script for Facts Not Filling, and it's all there. What is really, really key, though, is not to ask the one question. Ask something more. Tell me something that most people don't know. Tell me more. If you don't like the answer, let's say you're going for a title, for instance, the title that's up there, I'll tell you what, I didn't come up with that title. No, I did not. Chat GPT did. Now, it didn't take once or twice. I asked it 3 different times, and I asked it 3 different ways. And it would spit out 10 different titles. I didn't like the way the titles were, so I kept asking and kept asking and kept asking until I got the title that I wanted. So it's finessing it until you can get it the way that you like. So that's what it's just knowing how the system works. Now, I'm no expert on this tool, not at all. It's just knowing how it works and continually to play and work the system. All right, so I'm going to go to one. We're looking at, we got some more time here. So I'm going to go a little bit more on this. Hopefully you guys are okay with this. Hopefully we got some more in you here. So another way that I have found that I saw this, and so I wanted to share with you all, because I thought this was kind of cool. How many of us are asked to, and I know I being in the dealership, I got asked this a lot. Hey, can you come up with the copyright for our website? Yeah, no, I'm not a lawyer, so no, I'm not going to come up with the copyright of the webs for our website. And I got asked this a lot. So I said, hey, I wonder if it can. So I started researching it first to see, okay, what's the best way to ask this? Because I figured there's obviously a lot of legal jargon with this. So I did the research beforehand to figure out the best way to ask this, because it also is incumbent on you to understand it, because it is AI, it's not human, and you've got to ask it correctly. So once I researched how to ask it, then I asked it. So here we go. This is how you can ask it. And once again, I'm not a lawyer, so don't say this is the end all be all, but this is from my research, how I asked it. So this is how to put the copyright on your website. So here you go. I'm going to put this up here. So first and foremost is the copyright policy for a digital marketing company. And that's the first question I asked. But you can't just go there. You've got to ask more. Okay, as someone who lives in Illinois, United States, update the content to be relevant. So then it spits it out from there. So it's really key that you keep asking the questions. I can't just ask it once. I got to ask it again and again and again. So I'm going to show that one more time, just so that went a little quick there. So we're going to show that one more time for anyone that didn't catch that here. So we've got that copyright, create a copyright ad policy. And then from there, I've got to ask it again, as someone who lives in Illinois, United States, update these to be relevant. And at that point, I could take that. And even with that, I'm not going to, you'll see up there it says company name. I'm not going to simply copy and paste that and think that's going to be, oh, that's it. That's my golden ticket. I don't have to do anything. No, this is AI we're talking about, people. It's going to make mistakes. So at that point, I would take that and I would comb through it and say, okay, this is okay. And then I could put it on my site. If I wanted to tweak that even more, I could say for BZ Consultants Group, blah, 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 blah. But you got to understand, it's going to do exactly what you tell it to. So that's the same thing if you're trying to do coding, for instance. Coding gets even crazier. Now, I want to be very, very clear. I am not a coder. I know like that much coding, and that's the extent of my coding abilities. And you can definitely do coding on the website. When we go back to that very first welcome screen, it talks about coding. That if you want to do HTTP, you can do that. It will show you how to do it. Now, with that, you have to be very, very direct on what you tell it to do and how you tell it to do, and the verbiage you use and the wording you do, and the exact things you tell it to do. And I'm looking at the time here. We're at 40. Yeah, I think we can show this last one. And I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think we can. So this one might go a little quick. I'm going to try to slow it down, and I'm going to probably go through a couple times here. This is one that actually I saw someone do. I'll be very clear. I saw that Chat GPT had the ability to write code, and I was really, 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 really intrigued by this. So I watched a few videos on this, and this is something that I've always wanted to learn how to code. I've taught myself, just self-taught myself some code over the years, and I just honestly, maybe it's just the geek in me, I'm just enthralled. I'm just like so fascinated by coding. So with that, here is one. If you're, like I said, I cannot stress enough, it is so key that if you're trying to use Chat GPT to write code, how you do it, what you put in, and monitoring that, it is so incredibly key. So this is one about if you want to do with weather. So you know, it's gonna have to restart here, but you can kind of see like how you go about doing it is so vital about the verbiage you use, or it won't be correct. And you'll see over to this once I'm actually going to show this again, because you'll see on the left-hand side where it always says new chat. Every time I want to do one of those, it's got to be a new chat, because if I asked all of a sudden on that HTTP one, if I asked what's 1 + 2, it would throw the whole thing off, because it has nothing to do with the HTTP coding one. So I'm going to show this one more time, just so everyone gets a chance to read that, because there's a lot going on there. And you'll also see on this, it will say copy code. So you literally would just copy the code, assuming everything was correct. If anything was not correct, or if you wanted to change that coding at all or do something different, you'd have to need to start a whole new chat. So I'm going to show this one more time here. Just let that sink over. And like I said, I am not a coder. I literally was just trying to show what someone else was, how someone else had went through and did this, because I thought it was so fascinating that this code, you could just do this. Like, it's just so cool, man. Where the technology is now versus what it was even 6 months ago is just, it's really quite fascinating. It really, really is. So with that, like I said, this is just a few examples of how ChatGPT can be used in marketing. The possibilities, I've said this multiple times, they are endless, absolutely endless. And the ability that ChatGPT has, and the models that are out there to understand and understand the complex and the sentiment of specific conversations, and then generate responses back to not only us, but how it recognizes other people and recognizes all the different facts that are coming at it. And then it's just such an incredibly powerful tool for marketers and for us to get insight from the data and then generate personalized content. It's absolutely insane. And like I said, it's all of the different things, whether it's creating the content and doing that thing, but also understand from a research perspective, this is an insanely powerful tool. And I hope that everyone understands that, yes, it is, all these things are great. Understand as well, it's also incumbent on us to understand that we are the human in it. So we also have to review this, ensure that it is accurate. Even with that, I cannot tell you how much time this has saved. It's whether it's, like I said, from a podcast, from a transcribing, from a script, from ideas, from generating it's insane how much time this has saved me. So much time. Even though I have to go back, even not go back as it comes through. I mean, I'm spot checking it, but the amount of stuff that comes through, I mean, it's really quick. So I mean, you're just quickly going through and saying, okay, yeah, that's good, that's good, and it's super quick. So it's just using your head, and all of this. It's such a powerful tool. So use your head, analyze. It has this ability to analyze the customer buying purchase power and browsing the history, and then sending that all back to us. And we get that feedback and say, okay, how can we use this data to increase our ROI and better the customer journey? So there's so much we can do with this. And it honestly is just the tip of the iceberg, to be quite honest, because this is just the beginning, and it's going to this product continually learns. So the more feedback we give it and say it's doing a good job here, it's not doing a good job here, it's only going to get better. So it's a really, not only is it a cool product, it's a very helpful product. And as these models continue to do what it does and to fine tune a specific task with just a small amount of data, man, it's really cool. It's such a powerful tool. So with that, everyone, I thank you so much for your time. Any way I may help you with this, please let me know. And let me know as well. Please let me know, how are you using the tool? How is it helping you? How is it saving you time? Hopefully, if you haven't had a chance, hopefully this will motivate you to jump into the tool, jump in there, find out how it can help you and your team, and jump in there. I mean, that's the end of the thing. Jump in there. You can't break the tool, and save some time. Save some time out there, everyone. All right, everyone, have a wonderful rest of your day. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and we will see everyone next week. All right, we'll talk to everyone soon. All right, bye-bye.